Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shatir from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And today, let me spotlighting a little video on the Common Sense Show with Dave Hodges. It says the cost of failure. I only had a chance to watch maybe a minute of it, but it's very interesting because it's going into the leadership or a lack of leadership of America and the consequences of its crumbling leadership. So we're going to let this play and then we'll get some scripture.
5347-877-646-5347. I talked about a spin-off effect with regard to Afghanistan's failure, abject failure. Can you tell me any of our enemies that should be afraid of the United States now? We can't even get people out of country. We can't even keep the roads open to the airport. We're reading messages here on television from embassy personnel in the State Department saying, try to get to the airport, but your safety can't be guaranteed. That's not an evacuation. That's not an evacuation. This is a disaster waiting to happen. What does that say about our resolve? What does that say about how we're marshaling our military? There's nothing wrong with the military. There's nothing wrong with the military's equipment. There's something horribly wrong with the leadership. And what do you think China's doing back there? What is China's most prized possession that they are coveting? Well, everyone would say, well, Dave, it's Taiwan. They've already overrun Hong Kong. But it's Taiwan. It's Taiwan. It's Taiwan. And if they move on Taiwan, this is the time to do it. It will be swift. It'll be quick. They're thinking that the White House is in a state of disarray, that they won't be able to marshal a coherent response. I mean, this is how I would see it if I were the Chinese. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying we should be marshaling every ship, every base in that region of the world, putting Taiwan on alert and just saying to China, hey, don't judge this by what happened in Afghanistan. I'd be sending that message if I were Biden. I'd be on the phone saying that to Xi, don't make the mistake. We are ready for what you're going to do. And maybe they'll do nothing, but is that the Chinese way? Has that ever been the Chinese way? No. They're extremely aggressive in their foreign policy. So I just wanted to come on here and I wanted to share this with you. I've just had a couple of, like I said, late night.
Yeah. So he's basically talking about the failed leadership of America and the decisions that the leadership is making this country look super weak. So we're going to go to what was that, Obadiah? Where I think it says that. Is this the man? Could be an Obadiah or Isaiah. Yep, it's in Isaiah, I believe. Let me put it on pause and find it. This is Isaiah 14, and I'm going to start at 11. It says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Okay, and pomp is pride. And just to make sure that we're on point with that definition, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go back. Isaiah 14. And 11. So was Gawan.
Strong's H 1347. Gaon. Gaon.
It says exaltation, majesty, pride. Ooh, and we all know that's America. What does the scripture say? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. It says majesty, exaltation, excellence of nations of the Most High. It says pride, arrogance in a bad sense. Majesty, pomp, pride, proud, swelling, arrogancy, excellency. Yeah, that's America. The most prideful place ever to exist. Nothing's better than the USA. Everything's better in America. We got the best of this. We got the best of the economies. We got the best of the resources. We got the best of the military. Now you fast forward the clock, it's the exact opposite. And especially with the military, America used to pride itself off of having the best military, especially after they dropped that second bomb. Okay, as the scripture said, hey, the earth was quiet after that. But let's continue. And it says, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So America's pride, its leadership, is being brought down to a very low position. And it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, a place of rulership, place of exaltation, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground? And how has America been cut down to the ground in this sense? And the fact that the leadership is slacking when it comes to the military. Okay, while America was enjoying so many years of peace and prosperity, okay, these other nations were making power moves. Constantly building up their armies, constantly building up weaponry, constantly building up their economies. Getting the best weapons, making sure they can get the one up when it comes to this new cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Education. All right. All these countries were doing this while America was getting fat and lazy from years of peace and prosperity. And it says, which this weakened the nations. And how did America weaken the nations? Through its military might, through its so-called democracy. Because when you go, what's that scripture where it says, through peace, he calls craft to prosper. Daniel 8:25. And it says, I'm starting at 24. Daniel 8:24, and it says, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully. And the come up of America, when you look at its history, it's been nothing but destruction. Starting first and foremost, with our Northern Kingdom brothers. And then after that, they've been putting their reign of terror on the world for hundreds of years. Like I said, after they dropped that second atomic bomb, the world didn't want any smoke after that, no pun intended. The world didn't want any smoke. And America enjoyed a long time of peace and prosperity. After destroying many people with weapons and wars and with their democracy, putting these countries in debt to where they become slaves to America. That's how this place has prospered and become one of the greatest and richest nations to ever live. And it says, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And that's the main thing that this devil has done. He has destroyed Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's chosen people, who are the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And the main way he's destroyed you was by discontinuing you all, or us, from our heritage. And once he destroyed us, he destroyed the rest of the nations. Not to the extent that he did us, but to the point where they would be under subjugation and pay tribute to him. Okay? And it says that through his policy, that democracy, that doest thou will spirit, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. I'm proud to be an American. At least I know I'm free. You know, some of that bullshit. I might have butchered the lyrics, but that's okay. But you know, when America did all these things, that's how they were boasting in their might. That yes, we're the mightiest nation on earth. And it says, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Okay, and this is what you have happening right now. The downfall of America through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Verse 13, it says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Okay? It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Playing God. But verse 15 says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. And we all know hell is not this fantasy pit where there's fire blazing all the time and there's this little red man with these horns and a spiked tail and a pitchfork jabbing you in the behind forever and ever and ever. No, hell is a condition. So the Lord is saying that after bad Uncle Esau gets in a position of power where he destroys many nations with the sword and through his democracy and his witchcraft, okay, there'll be a time, as Job says, that he can where he cannot pass. He appointed the bounds where he cannot pass. And so now we're at that time, and America is being brought low. America is being brought to a very hellish condition. And now the nations are saying, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? So basically what it's saying is that you got this once mighty guy who had the world quiet before him, and now look at him. Look at him now. It says that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the world is looking at America like, wow, you've become as weak as us. You was the big tough guy. And now this move that you made in Afghanistan, this really makes you look weak. Because they've been in Afghanistan for years. Years. And now they got so deep and nothing was getting done, where they just had to pull out. And this is a move that makes America look very weak. And now since they've given up Afghanistan, guess what? That favors the Chinese. Why? Guess who's close to Afghanistan? Chinese. This benefits Russia. Guess who's close to Afghanistan? Russia. Guess who are the two main countries that are battling against America? Russia and China. You see how this is all coming together? So with Biden backing out, these countries are just saying to themselves, hey, America weak as hell right now. They don't have the strength that they used to. As the old saying goes, they a dog with no teeth. A loud barking dog with no teeth. They know that this country is through. And that the leadership is weak and it does not support America, its troops, or its people. So now we're coming into a time where the enemies of America will soon pounce on the opportunity to take advantage of a situation that they've been waiting for hundreds of years. And this is not something that's going to be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. This is something that we're probably going to see within the next year or two. So this should definitely be something to keep an eye on. So I hope you all were edified. Until the next time, we're going to say Shalom.